everyone, John here from All Miniatures Great and Small, and today we're looking at the M6 Heavy Tank Platoon for Flames of War. This is both a new release and a re-release of the old mid-war monsters range. So in the new North Africa compilation books, one of the new things you can do or add to your force are some basically like hypothetical or rare vehicles to them. I believe they're called Wildcards in there. And this is one of the American options, the M6 Heavy Tank Platoon. So I'm not going to get all of them. I picked this one up on a fluke just because I happen to like this this tank, and I thought it would be cool. Not necessarily because I think it's a game-winning model or anything like that. But let's take a look at the back. We get a look at the tank. We get 2 M6 tanks and 2 unit cards in the box, which is pretty cool. And then it tells us obviously North Africa is in there. This is a heavy box, so it is not plastic. It is going to be a resin and metal model, I believe. For those Flames of War players of previous editions, this box and packaging should bring back fond memories. I know they still have stuff in the resin range, but this is how almost everything came before you know, Battlefront really got their plastics game down. So even the common things like Shermans and whatnot were in resin and metal. So if we could actually open this. There we go. Okay. So we have 2 resin hulls. Looks like we've got some gun barrels. We've got a gun barrel. We've got very heavy tracks, and you hear me drop that, but oh good, there is the other gun barrel. I'm assuming these are fenders. And then you've got some machine guns and crews in there as well. So overall, a pretty beefy looking tank. I like to think of this almost as like the American version of the Tiger. And you can kind of see how that goes on there. There's no instructions in the box. Oh wait, there are instructions in the box, I hope. How did I miss that? Let's see if there's instructions in here. No instructions, just the 1 unit card and the Fighting First kind of organization chart, which is not useless, but you know, you only need 1 of those and you get so many of those. So here is the stat card. You can see that's front armor 8, side armor 5, top armor 2, still hit on a 3. Skill is still 5+, motivation is 4+, which is pretty common American stats for the Fighting First, the mid-war American arsenal. The cool thing about this is that it has both a 3-inch gun and a 37mm gun. So it's got a 3-inch gun, which is anti-tank 12, out to 36 inches. Basically the same gun you find on an M10, with no HE and 3+ firepower. But this version has stabilizer, whereas the M10 does not come with stabilizer. And then the M6 37mm gun, which is 24 inches, anti-tank 7, 4+ firepower, and stabilizer as well. It has only 50 cal machine guns, which is cool, but it's got 4 shots standing still, 3 shots on the move, so not a ton compared to maybe a Sherman, but a decent amount of machine gun shots. The fact that they're 50 cals gives you another option for trying to dig infantry out. There are no assembly instructions here. I do know that most Battlefront models have assembly instructions on the front. Oh yeah, and it says right here, it gives you directions on how to do that. You find the product and then you click on the spotlight button for an assembly guide. So you do have to find it. Usually they had put the diagram on the back, so I guess they didn't want to do that. But it's harder to see the detail here, but you can see, you know, this has like mold release agent on it, so you want to give it a wash. Just soapy water is usually good enough. And rinse it off. The massive treads. I don't know, with the glare and the metal if you can see much of the detail there, but it's there. You got lots of detail. Now this is an older kit. I don't know if it has, I don't see any dates on here, but that said, it builds up into a really nice model. So I'm going to go ahead and quickly figure out how to assemble one of these and come back and show you. Alright, about a half hour has passed and ta-da, I built one. Overall, working with resin, not just Battlefront resin, but resin metal miniatures in general, typically requires a little bit more work and effort from the model maker. There are things to clean up. The pieces don't always snap fit. Sometimes you have to slide them around a little bit to figure out the best spot. But I mean, it puts together as a really cool looking tank. I could not find the build instructions on the website. Maybe that was just me having an off day searching. But I know if I have problems, I'm sure there'll be at least a part of the population that'll have problems too. That said, I did find the product page on their website, and it had plenty of pictures at different angles, so I could figure out where everything went. I mean, there's really not a lot of parts to this to figure out. Really just figuring out how the fenders go on, where the overhang is on the inside, not the outside. And how they're angled, but just looking at a couple pictures will show you that. And then you have the dual 50 cal mount. Now I put a gun crew on here. This is just a resin guy I found. There was some metal in the box, but there's also a mount for a 50 cal, and there's a 50 cal in the box. But I'm not sure if that's something I'm going to put on before I paint it. So those metal ones tend to snap off, I think, a little bit easier than the plastic ones. Maybe I could find an extra plastic one off of one of the other frames and put it on there, just because it, you know, they're so flimsy, and they get bent and they don't look as good. But like I said, the assembly is really nice, and this is, you know, a solid tank. As a comparison, size-wise, here it is next to a M3 Lee, and you can just see it's ridiculously massive. So that's the assembly. Obviously, I'm not going to paint it for this video. Again, the card. What do I think of this tank in game? Like I said earlier, you know, it's not a game changer for the Americans. Front Armor 8 is great, and it renders the M6 invulnerable to a lot of things on the table. You know, the Panzer IIIs and Panzer IVs are really going to struggle against this guy, but I've yet to see a German army that doesn't have a couple of 88s, Martyrs, or Tigers in it in some form or another to get that higher, you know, above anti-tank 10. Yeah, an 88, something that's AT-14 or a Tiger, Front Armor 8 is you know, you have to roll a 6 to equal. So it's practically no armor at all, and these die almost as quickly as a Sherman or a Stuart to a 88 round coming from a German force. So you're going to have to be careful with them, and the fact that they are hit on 3s means if an 88 or Tiger can see them, they're probably going to hit them with at least 1 or more shots. So you have to be very careful. So these guys, you know, aren't a mega solution for the Americans. You're still going to have to employ these smartly. That said, you know, you don't buy these Wildcard, these mid-war monsters, to help you win all your games of mid-war Flames of War. You do it because it's kind of fun, and it's something different, and it's a little piece of what-if history. These aren't made-up, completely made-up tanks. They just never made it to the theater. You know, this particular tank never made it into mass production. And it's kind of fun to play a what-if game. What if they were able to get there? Were the heavy tank advocates in the U.S. Army right to push for it? Or was Patton and his guys right to just push for medium tanks and more medium tanks? So, you know, you've got that going for it. And there are a lot of other mid-war monsters down there as well. I'm curious for you viewers, are there any particular mid-war monsters, or wild cards as they're called, that you're looking forward to employing in the game? So yeah, sound off down below. So there you go, guys. There's a look at the M6 Heavy Tank Platoon for Flames of War. You can find the stats and points in the North Africa book. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please do consider giving us a like and subscribe. Click that bell to receive notification when we release new content. As always, thanks for watching, and keep on gaming.